Welcome to Empty Bowls in the virtual mode. 2020 and 2021 have certainly seen our world change, and ICS has had to adapt with those changes. Our food bank continues to be central to our services. I mean, food, it's a basic necessity for all. Over this last year, it has become more and more evident that our volunteers are the key to our success. This event has been led by one of our most steadfast volunteers, Sylvia Buchanan, our Empty Bowls volunteer chair. She has exhibited, like all of our volunteers, the ability to adapt and reimagine what was to what you're going to see today. Please welcome Sylvia.
Thank you so much, Tom, and I really appreciate being able to participate in this virtual event today. This year is a different year, but due to our wonderful committee, we have come up with a terrific plan to have people purchase the tickets to Empty Bowls and then be able to drive through the event. We're having a bowl bonanza this year, so all the bowls will be passed out in secret bags, and people will be surprised when they open the bags. Part of the program today will be including volunteers who work at our food pantry, and they'll be telling you about the experience there. We will be going into the studios of our potters, and they can tell you all about how they make the bowls and the whole process that they go through. This will also include chefs from some of our Tucson restaurants who donate to the event, and we can find out information on what they normally do at the event and how this year is going to be a little different. We'd like to thank everybody who is watching this virtual presentation. We appreciate you purchasing tickets to Empty Bowls. I think you'll be very pleased with all the beautiful bowls that we're passing out this year. And I also want to thank the committee who's worked so hard this year planning this and orchestrating this and making this such a wonderful, successful event. Tim Cromer will be joining us to talk about food distribution at ICS.
During the pandemic, the ICS food banks have adapted from a grocery store shopping style atmosphere to a drive-through model in order to keep our clients, volunteers, and staff safe. This new model has allowed us to serve more people in a shorter amount of time and with significantly more food. As always, the ICS volunteers continue to be the heart of the organization, and they continue to show compassion even during this drive-through model with the interactions and encounters with clients. As always, our goal is to help with hope and compassion. In addition to our volunteers, we would like to thank our faith community partners and donors who have contributed during this time. Your support has been overwhelming, but the need is still great, and Empty Bowls will help us to meet the need.
Back when the pandemic started, we knew that there was going to be a need for volunteers.
It was really surprising to us, I think, more than anything else, of the need that's out there. That really shocked us, of how many people that ICS serves and the process and the clients. It's been pretty amazing to us.
We love volunteering because it's something we can do together. It's just, we've been so blessed in our lives that it's a way for us to give back to the community. And we feel it's important when you are in a community is to get involved.
You can see every day that you work here that some slight difference that you're making. There's so much negativity out there that it's you need to fill your heart with positive things, and you see the positive in the other volunteers and of the office staff and the whole
and the people that we serve too.
And the people that we serve. It's a positive thing for everyone, because a lot of them will look, this is the first time we've been here, and it's somewhat embarrassing. And it's like all the volunteers work hard at making it a fun event. The care and the concern and the empathy that all the volunteers, as well as the office staff, do is it just amazes me every day. Thank you to ICS for the opportunity, and thank you to the other volunteers for making us feel like part of a bigger family.
I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be a able to do this. It means a lot to us to be able to serve.
I'm part of the Pandemic Outreach Program, which is a grant that COPE got through the state of Arizona. And really it's just here to help people facilitate their nutrition needs and support in the community and peer support and all the things they need in their life right now with the pandemic going on and whatnot. So I come by and pick up boxes and bring them to their house and check on them and really prevent them from having to do it themselves, and more or less just make sure they can stay fed and stay safe and everything else right now, so and stay supported. Without this generous contributions in the food bank and ICS and all the wonderful things that are going on up here, this wouldn't be a thing. So I appreciate all the help and everything.
We have been needing food, and so we come to the donation center here. She had a surgery, and so it's been kind of hard for us to even go to the store, so we're glad that the food bank is here for us.
We come here every month to pick up for 2 disabled adults. One is my daughter who's bedridden, the other is her friend. There's no other way they can get food, it's not delivered. I just hope I can stay well enough because I'm not healthy, my husband's not healthy, but there's no other option for disabled that are stuck in their home. But this program is awesome. They get a lot of food for for when we come, when we can make it here.
Of course, I have a 96-year-old lady in the back who's always able to come. She gets up once a month to come greet her, and she needs food. She's on Social Security, and I'm currently unemployed, and my friend here doesn't work either, so it's really nice to be able to have this service, and we certainly are so appreciative for it and grateful. The world is in turmoil right now, and the United States is dealing with COVID and a lot of other issues, and this just gives people hope.
We came to pick up food for my family and for neighbors. I have a lot of family and I'm on Social Security. I only make $600 a month, and that pays for the rent. And then I do odd jobs to make the money up for the utilities and stuff. And I have a big family. I travel by bus once a month to come and pick up food, and it's from Miracle Mile and Fairview all the way here to Ina. I have a cart and I know how to situate everything because I pretty much get the same amount of bags or things like this. So, and what I do is I load up the cart and then I put the boxes on top and then I tie them down. If it wasn't for the food bank, my family and I would never survive. We've been coming to the food bank for 10 years.
When we moved here to Tucson a few years ago, we wanted to volunteer. We knew we wanted, but we just couldn't find the right fit. And then when our neighbor Arver approached us and we came here, we found the right fit. We really did. This is family, like family to us.
You could do one event a year. You could do multiple times per week. Find the kind of opportunity you want, whether it's talking to people on the phone or bringing gifts or bringing food to their home or helping them get shopping lists or coming here,
The staff here really respect the volunteers and what we do, and that makes us feel really good and really wanting to do more and to help.
The staff that works at the food bank is always sensitive to safety, whether it be COVID, also just tripping and falling safety or lifting safety. They're very diligent in making sure that all happens the best possible way. A lot of times when somebody pulls up, you can see the fear and the hopelessness in their eyes, and then after we put some food in there, it seems to be a little better. And they always are grateful.
And they're so appreciative. They are, whenever you give them something, it's nice. Nice feeling for everyone.
Help brings hope, that really says it all, to me. Once I saw that, when we started coming here, saw that and said, that's really what it's about, and that's what underlies everything here, that people, just a little leg up can make all the difference in the world. If you're hopeless and you're hungry, I can't imagine what that's like.
We're lucky today to have Claire Babineau-Fontenot, who is the CEO of Feeding America, to help provide a message for us during this 10th anniversary celebration. Claire's message to us today shares the importance of ICS's work and goes beyond that to talk about the partnerships between all of us in the community and even those serving the rest of the country.
I'm Claire Babineau-Fontenot, and it's my great privilege to serve as CEO of Feeding America. I feel so honored to have this opportunity to say thank you and congratulations to the ICS team. Thank you for everything that you've done for so many years to serve your communities in need. Thank you for your partnership with Feeding America. We hope that when you see that logo, you see yourselves, because you are most certainly a part of our network of 200 member food banks and over 60,000 agency partners and meal programs across this great nation who step up to serve our neighbors together. And congratulations! 10 years of the Empty Bowls Initiative? What a remarkable way to bring in neighbors and partners across your communities to be a part of the solutions that you seek. I can't let this moment pass without specifically congratulating you on those mobile pantries. We know that you've seen unprecedented need and that you've met that need in so many remarkable ways, and that among them are pantries that acknowledge that so many people who need us today don't even have access to the transportation to get to where the food is. Making mobile pantries like the ones that you've created that bring the food to the people, absolutely critical to our success in helping them. So thank you, Interfaith Community Services team. Thank you for everything that you do. And congratulations to the members of the staff, the volunteers, and every single donor who invests in our work. What we do together matters. It's never mattered more than it does right now.
Thank you, Claire, for that inspirational message and for validating the work that we're doing here in Tucson, that it is important and that it does make a difference.
As a potter, Empty Bowls is an awesome opportunity for people. I'd love to see more people doing it. You just get an opportunity to play with your clay and play with your bowls. I've been doing this for, I think it's been 5 years. I started off making those 20 bowls, and the following year I did probably about 100 bowls, and then the following year I did 200 bowls. The next year I just wanted to beat that. I was looking forward to beating that 200, and I ended up doing 354 bowls. This year I've only done 160 because of time shortage, but I would have done more. So I think I probably in the last 5 years have made about 800 bowls. I think if you continue to do it, you get more passionate through the years. You just want to do better, and you want to do new, and you want to see those numbers and that dollar amount climb at the end. And when you do, you take some personal gratification from that. When I make bowls, I'd like to do unique and different things. The process is, for me, is generally I start throwing with bowls. I alter them. I look at them, I try to figure out what I want to do with them. They ultimately get fired and then glazed, then refired, and then they have to pass my critique. I'll do ultimately 3 coats of this particular glaze. I'm going to let this layer dry, and while I do that, I can paint the outside. It's a detailed process, and for me, I'm adamant about having a lot of variety and a lot of colors. I want to please everybody. I want somebody to pick up a bowl and say, gosh, I love this bowl. And then I'm all happy. I'd really like to see Empty Bowls and the movement continue to grow. Every year that it started, the numbers have gone up, the dollar amounts have gone up, the people involved have gone up, the ticket buyers. I'd like to see it enlarge so we can get more ticket buyers, frankly. I love that the people that are donating for the raffles and the silent auctions, some of the quality stuff in there is amazing. And if people continue to do that, they can feed a ton of people. And that's the goal. So that's what, ticket sales will do. The inspiration for me behind doing this is the ability to make somebody's day, to offer that person that otherwise might not eat today, that otherwise might go to school hungry. I've never gone hungry, and I can't imagine that fear or that worry of how am I going to feed my kids today. And if I can help in one little way, and if I can make somebody happy that picks that bowl, that is contributing in their little way also, then it works for everybody. If you contribute one bowl, you don't have to make 150 bowls. You don't have to make 200 bowls. This year, I thought it was important to make a lot of bowls, as many as I could, because we don't have the people. And the idea or the thought in my head to think that somebody's going to approach ICS and looking for food and there isn't going to be any because we don't have the money is unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. When you can make a bowl or, donate funds or whatever you do. For me, it's making the bowls and donating funds if I can. I think the mystery bowl idea is wonderful under the circumstances. And I think that we have such good supporters and such amazing people that will continue to support and continue to buy their tickets. I made my bowls less specific to an individual choice and more generic to the larger population. People just are happy to participate, happy to contribute, happy to get a bowl that a potter made.
We've been doing empty bowls since 2012.
We're very proud to be a part of it this year, especially with the challenges that are going on. But wow, right?
Wow, yeah.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, and it's been just so much fun every year. Our employees are always fighting with who gets to go.
It's true.
It is.
It's true.
Yeah.
And we look forward to it every year.
Our passion for empty bowls is filling the bowls for people that have empty bowls. I mean, as restaurant people, as a chef, Mary, you're all about filling up a bowl and feeding people, right?
It's all about feeding people. We love that.
We love feeding people. That is our passion. This year has been a different year. It's been a challenge for us as local food providers, but I think we've risen to it.
Yes.
I feel proud of what we've accomplished here. We have a wonderful staff, and the guests have been so supportive. It's just really brought tears to our hearts of how supportive the community has been to us. So we've been very fortunate. It's been a good year for us, and we've been able to honor our commitment to the gluten-free community to provide safe and delicious, we hope, food for them.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of fun getting inspired by our recipes, and it's a process. Mary will start out with something, and then I'll throw something in, and the final product is never how we start with the recipe.
This is such an extraordinary event, and we want to be able to hit not only the gluten-free community, but we're also looking to take care of people that have other special needs, other allergies, people that are a little bit older and need specific dietary needs.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't
People
just
that
concentrate on a lot of things.
I'd say our best offering, and still our favorite.
And I know what this is going to be. I love this. This is the best soup.
Dill pickle soup.
Doesn't it sound crazy? But it is absolutely delicious.
It is, yeah. It is so gratifying.
It is really.
The event is just, it's all about sharing and helping to raise money. But selfishly, it's about a lot of gratification for us because it's just, it's so wonderful. If you come to our restaurant and you're not gluten-free, you might have some preconceived notions. We've had people come in with non-gluten-free who at first are hesitant to order. I don't think I'm going to want that. But they try it, we challenge them. We've even said to people, we challenge you to try this. If you don't like it, it'll be on the house, no problem.
All of our products are top of the line. We don't skimp. We check everything at the producer to make sure that it's gluten-free. So it's a 100% gluten-free facility, which allows for the comfort and the security
and the confidence
that you can dine here.
And what's really special for people is that they can come to a restaurant like this with their family when they're gluten-free and not have to feel all different. Here, you're just comfortable from the get-go.
It's just part of my passion. It's just what I feel that makes me whole, is to feed somebody and bring people together, and the camaraderie and the familyness that all provides. The love. Yes, it is. It's fulfilling for me. That's my drive. That's my purpose. I think it brings us all together to be able to do something as big as empty bowls. And there's always at least 10 or 15 restaurants, right, that participate. And we're just all together in on the same drive to provide for the community and be a part of the community. And, you know, the other side is to be recognized by the community, to do that and to participate.
For people that are from the food and beverage industry, and maybe you are giving them some much needed help now, it's even more special, I think, to know that we're helping our peers and our colleagues in any way that we can, because we are a really tightly knit group in Tucson. I think it's unusual. I don't think in other cities we have the camaraderie among the food and beverage industry that we have here. It's one of the things that makes Tucson so special, is that we really don't view each other as competitors. We'll loan each other employees, products, anything we can do to help each other. So to know that we might be helping through the food bank, it is even more special.
I think it's the 10th year of Empty Bowls at ICS, and I've done all 10 years. I got the opportunity to make bowls for the food bank, and it just seemed like a really interesting thing to do, a worthwhile thing to do. It's such a wonderful metaphor, you know, that empty bowl is just an extension of that giving hand, you know. I think Empty Bowl started years ago as an art project in a class, as I understand. A teacher wanted to have a fundraiser for a food drive, so she had her class make bowls, and then they invited people to come and have a simple meal, just soup and bread, you know, the simplest of food in that bowl. And it just caught on, that metaphor for helping each other. It's clay from the earth. First it's spinning and you form it, and it's kind of magic. It just kind of happens, you know. First of all, it's very good for the soul. It's very soothing. And then it's fired, and that makes it solid, and that makes it permanent. The chemistry that happens in the kiln when it's fired, and these glazes, all these things happen, and colors melt together, and it becomes something other. And then some of them break. They go through the kiln and they crack. I'm inspired just by walking outside. The flora and fauna of the desert. My bowls have lots of flowers and lots of cactus. And the colors, I like the colors of the desert. Maybe we're learning this year to be there for each other. You know, we've had so many people who have been alone this year, being, you know, quarantined or isolated or whatever, for whatever reason. And it's made us realize how much we need each other and how much we should be there for each other, and how much it means when somebody is there for us. To feel like what you're doing is making it possible for someone to be fed with real food from the food bank, or emotionally or spiritually, yeah. It's kind of what we're commissioned to do. Some of the public studios in other years would take this on as a project, so they would make bowls in the studio, you know, of the people who come and take classes there, or some of the professionals in town also work out of public studios. But this year, because of the pandemic, most of those studios were closed. So it was really individual potters. So, you know, it's kind of by word of mouth. Well, I see it. Empty Bowls is going to happen. You know, would you like to be involved? And, oh, sure. And then they tell somebody else, and pretty soon people start calling in and say, I want to be involved. I want to do this. I can make some bowls. You know, I can make half a dozen bowls. I can make 30 bowls. In years, I've been there when people have picked out the bowls, and to have someone pick up a bowl. They don't know me from anybody. To pick up a bowl, I know it's mine, and to admire it. It's really a good feeling, you know, so that somebody likes what you do, likes what you like, is inspired by what you're doing. That's a real rush. It really is.
I think we're in our 10th year. I think we've been there since the start. In the early years, I think we did more than one soup, and then we dialed it back to just our clam chowder. This year, because of COVID, it's been quite a body blow for the food and beverage industry. I mean, if you look around the dining room, we're only seating at 50%, and 50% is enough, but it's still a bit of a stretch. We've seen in the short period of times that we've reopened, that we get a lot of support. We've been around a while. We were lucky enough to be able to weather the storm, or still weather the storm. We hope we're on the downside of this. You have a coupon program that you spoke to us about on the phone and things. I think it may help rejuvenate the restaurant community. I think it may start to bring people back in the front door. And we would hope that that kind of support will show them that, yes, we're still here for the community. And yes, we're still a part of it. Kingfisher has been open since 1993, so we've been around a long while. What comes with that is we see guests that were maybe youngish when we opened in 93. They had kids, their kids went to college, and now we see their kids coming back with their kids. And, that is very touching to me. If you were to ask me what Empty Bowls is about for us, we touched on it a little earlier. It's community. How it affects us is that it brings us together. For 20 gallons of soup, we can interact with 12, maybe 1,500 guests. The Tucson community is such, for me, you don't know who needs the assistance. We don't ask. Our support is not for the guys or the people you see in the parks, living in the parks. It's for everybody. And you don't know how they present themselves. You don't know what kind of house they live in. But they may need the help. That's what it's about.
As we look forward, what we don't see is the need decreasing. As a matter of fact, we see more and more people every day that are suffering from food deprivation. Young, old, married, single, food insecurity is sweeping through our community. Our goal is to meet people where they are. Our food banks work only if people can get to them, but many can't. We have started delivering food to our faith communities so that they can distribute to people closer to their neighborhoods. We've engaged our volunteer corps to actually deliver food boxes to people who can't or won't go out during this pandemic. In the next year, you will see ICS operate more and more mobile food pantries. We will be able to bring wonderful items that people would find in the food bank out to their communities, closer to their homes. You'll find produce, frozen foods, dairies, breads, and canned goods right in people's neighborhoods. It will be a food bank on wheels, giving us the ability to go into neighborhoods that have great need and to be nimble, to adapt and change neighborhoods as the need changes. This allows families greater flexibility. Instead of having to come to a food bank on a certain day at a certain time, now that our mobile pantry will be in their community on a regular basis, hopefully making their lives a little bit easier. Your donations can help us bring the food to the people that need it. Your donation will help fight hunger and will help feed hope. Every gift makes a difference.
Thank you for attending our virtual presentation. It means a lot to us that you have purchased a ticket, that you're going to come by ICS and see where we distribute food and how much you're helping the food insecurity in Tucson right now. Thank you.
On behalf of the board, the staff, and the volunteers, thank you. The work we have done and that we're about to do cannot be accomplished without you, our donors. Thank you to our potters, our vendors, like many of our clients. They have been impacted by this pandemic, and yet they have come and they've participated fully in this event. You are all an inspiration. And Sylvia, thank you for your flexibility, your leadership, and most of all, your passion and positivity. This event could not go on without volunteers like you. I look forward to celebrating next year at our 11th Empty Bowls with all of you in person. Today we are live in our ICS food bank, which is an active food bank. This morning we just completed serving over 100 clients, and now we have volunteers and staff in the back packing up meals that will be delivered later today to our seniors. We have the privilege today of having Chef Masood of Splendido joining us in the food bank. Thank you for being here.
Thanks,
we
Tom.
appreciate it. He'll be teaching us how to prepare his famous chilled melon soup. Each year, Splendido, alongside with other senior living facility chefs, support the event through their soup, dessert, or bread recipes. We want to acknowledge that alongside local restaurant chefs, the senior and assisted living facilities that have been a huge support to our Empty Bowls effort. Chef Masood, we are so excited to learn the techniques to make this soup, and we're happy that you're going to share them with us, and maybe you'll share the sample to take home at the end.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Can't
Thank
wait.
you.
Yeah. Well, hello. My name is Chef Masood Mohammadi. As Tom mentioned, I'm the executive chef of Splendido at Rancho Vistoso in Oro Valley. Splendido, as Tom mentioned, has been supporting our Tucson communities for many years, including the ICS at the Empty Bowls event. I participated in the last Empty Bowls event, and I was really amazed by the dedication of the volunteers and all the participants that were there and really supporting this great cause. I think it was a wonderful event. Now, at that event, it was amazing. People would walk up to us and tell us how much they really love this soup and they can't wait to have it again. And really, they look forward to it year after year. And really, that made my job really easy. All I had to do was pour and serve and really try to keep up. So here we go. The recipe itself is really very simple. The good thing about it is there is no cooking involved. If you're comfortable holding a knife and do a little bit of chopping and use a blender, you're all set. So it's a very easy recipe to do. All the ingredients I'm using here today, they are readily available in your neighborhood and local supermarkets. So you might already have it in your pantry. So without further ado, today we're going to use a couple of melons. We have the honeydew and a cantaloupe. We have some citrus juices. In this case, we have orange and lemon. We're using some honey here and also vanilla yogurt. In addition, we have a raspberry puree, which I took fresh raspberries, pureed them, run them through a sieve to get the seeds out. And later on, we're going to add this raspberry to some of that vanilla yogurt and use that as a drizzle for our soup. So before we get started, I just want to talk about the melon a little bit. So before you start cutting up your melon or any fruit for that matter, make sure you rinse it and you really get rid of all the dirt and debris and any bacteria that might be on the surface. So give it a good rinse, give it a good scrubbing, and then you're pretty much ready to go. When you select your melon, make sure it's free of any blemishes or bruises. And there is two parts to the melon. You have the stem part and then you have the blossom part. So when you check for the ripeness for your melon, this is the area that you're usually looking for. So this is the area that you're going to smell for the aroma. You should be able to smell a little bit. And this is the area that actually you squeeze it a couple of times. Now the melon shouldn't feel really hard or really soft. If it's too hard, which means it's not ripe enough. If it's too soft, it is overripe. Now if you're planning to make this soup at home, I would recommend to buy your melons a couple of days before you're actually going to use it. So if it's not ripe enough, just keep it on your kitchen counter or the pantry. Give it a couple of days to ripen up. If it's already ripe, just keep it in your refrigerator. It'll be fine till you're ready to use it. So the melons I'm using, the cantaloupe I'm using today, it's already washed, ready to go. I did that ahead of time. So really we're going to start by cutting the end of the blossom part and then simply the stem part. And this gives us a really, it's going to make it easier for the melon for me peeling it off, and also gives us a nice secure safe workplace here. We don't have to chase our melon all over the cutting board. And simply, if you're right-handed or left-handed, it really doesn't matter. You just feel comfortable. We're going to start from the top and work our way to the bottom. Now, if you notice, the melon, of course, is curved. So when you take the peel off, just follow the contour of the melon. You start from the top, and then you curve your knife in, and you go all the way on the bottom. And as you're doing this, just keep twisting your melon towards you or away from you in a way you like, in a way that is easier for you. So we're going to continue doing that we entirely peel the melon. And sometimes as you go in, you might have to do a little bit of cleaning up. Just simply put it on the side. Let me get rid of this first. These guys get away. And simply trim it off, And I think this looks pretty good. The next thing we want to do is simply cut your melon in half. Today I'm just going to use the half of this melon for the demo, so I'll put this half over here. And just use a spoon and simply remove the seeds. Now when you remove the seeds, be careful. You don't want to take all this goodness that down here, really that has a lot of sweetness that you really want to keep with your melon. And also has natural pectin in this part of the melon that would help you thicken your soup a little bit. So I think that's pretty good. It's ready to go. Now from here is the cut side down. You put it down and simply go ahead and make, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to make 1-inch dice or 1-inch cubes for the melon just to make it easier for the blender. You don't have to rush through this. Take your time, turn your melon, and simply 1-inch dice. Okay, now we're really ready to go. I did some prep ahead of time, so we're going to use those. Now the recipe itself, as I said, there is no cooking involved here. It's very simple. So we start with our melons. Now remember, if you don't have two types of melon, one type is enough. If you like different types of melon when they're in season, like Tuscan melon or any other kind, whatever you like, this is your soup. You really could be creative with it and use different type of melons in season. I do a chilled watermelon gazpacho, and that's pretty good soup to have. So I have a cup of orange juice here. I'm just going to use half of it for this recipe. The recipe, I believe, will be provided to you. And some of this freshly squeezed lemon juice. And I'm just going to use about a couple of teaspoons of honey. Now, honey is really up to you. If you like it more sweet, just go ahead and add more. And really depends on the ripeness of your melon, how much honey you should be using. And so it's really, this is pretty much ready to go. Now on this side, we have some fresh mint. For this recipe, I use about 2.5 spoons. So we're looking at maybe 7-8 leaves. Simply, you stack them up, roll them a little bit towards you. And what I'm really doing is slicing it. The culinary term for this is chiffonade. And just give it a couple of more chop. You don't have to chop it too much because it's really going to go in the blender and blend everything together. And we are ready to go. So make sure your blender is on low. You don't want to splash all over the place. And you're just pulsing here. And really, that's it. One of the simplest soup you ever make. Now, as far as the plating, what we do at the bowl, we also garnish this soup with a little bit of raspberry puree that will add to our some of our vanilla yogurt, and simply we mix that up. And really this adds a nice fresh raspberry tone to the soup. If you don't have raspberry, you probably could use a strawberry as well. And I put this in a squeeze bottle. It makes it easier to work with. As far as plating now, if you're making this at home for your dinner party, you're probably gonna wanna have a nice presentation to it. So this is the soup here. I'll put it in this mason jar to make it easier to pour. It's nice and chilled. Now, when you serve the soup, make sure your serving plate or serving bowls is nice and chilled. Simply put it in your freezer about 30 minutes before you need it. And then we're going to take some of this raspberry garnish. You can really drizzle any way you want. You can put dots. And what I do is, you want to take it one step further. Simply, I have some Parisian melon balls. You can add this right as garnish. And we don't do this at the event, but definitely that if you're doing that at home, you want to really do this as well. And just garnish with some fresh mint. Now you're really taking your soup to another level in terms of presentation, and you saw how easy it is to make and the end result. Let me get rid of this to give you a good shot. And here we go. Chilled watermelon soup. Well, I just want to remind you that the recipe cards will be provided at the event and will be handed out with the empty bowls. Thank you very much. I want to thank you for joining me for this video, and thank you for your generosity and kindness.